Hi, my name is Sajin. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Here we talk about everything that happens after the end credits. Today, we're going to speak about the Malayalam movie CHATHA PACHA, The Ring of Rowdies, and my experience watching it. Directed by Adhvaith Nair and co-written by Adhvaith and Sanup Taikunam. The story is about three brothers who are separated in their childhood due to an incident which refers them to as Walter's Boys. Yes, Walter's Boys. We'll come back to that later. 20 years later, one of the brothers comes back to reunite all of them to create a WWE style wrestling tournament referred to as the Costume Gusti. The challenges that they face, the ragtag of friends, the enemies they have to face follows the rest of the stories. Today, I'm going to tell you the things that worked for me, the things that didn't work for me, and overall, what was my experience watching the movie. Things that worked for me. Characterization. The characterization in this movie, Chatha Pacha, feels like it's straight out of a comic book. Yes, these characters are loud, funny, and wacky. However, Advait and his co-writer Sanu has been able to flesh out these characters enough for us to feel for them. We feel they are real, and we feel they could be one of us. And that is one of the biggest things in this movie. World building. The movie transfers Fort Kochi into this place where people are eagerly waiting for their Friday night to see their local WWE superstars, or famously called their costume gusti superstars, to fight it out. These superstars become famous overnight and they're accepted so much that people close down their businesses just to watch them fight it out. The world building is very successful here. It does not feel fictitious at all, forced, or out of place. Performances. Arjun Ashokan and Ishan gets most of the screen time, with both of them giving very earnest performances with the effort that they have put in the characters, clearly shown physically as well as emotionally. Roshan Matthew gets a welcome change from his usually subtle characters that he plays in other movies. He even gets to flex his mass muscle in the second half with a beautifully written scene, which got hoots and cheers in my screen throughout. The tag rag group of friends, played superbly by the rest of the cast, keeps the movie real and keeps us hooked to the movie. Watch out for little Vedika, who is terrific in the role of Rosama. Finally, the biggest working factor for this movie is the nostalgia. The nostalgia of seeing WWE kind of superstars in our world, in the world that we are familiar with, seeing the fights that are similar to us in the WWE world, which most of our 90s kids were very familiar with in our school days. And most important, nostalgia with the most unexpectedly expected cameo at the end. Yes, you know it. He's there, he's at the end. Whatever said and done, whether he's there for 2 minutes or 2 hours, we just love him. And it's wonderful to see him having fun with the young guys. Things that did not work for me. The overindulgence in the idea rather than the narrative. Yes, sometimes the movie is so indulgent in the idea of creating the world that they forget the narrative. This is something that happened in this movie that you feel very clearly. Yes, there are movies who have successfully created an idea where the narrative is just an add-on. One movie that does come to my mind is Tallumala, where the idea is so wacky and fun that the narrative just acts as a support. However, in this movie, this does only work in parts. Emotional arc. The emotional arc in this movie is about a father trying to get back in the life of his daughter. The emotional arc keeps coming in and out of the narrative as per the requirement. However, it never makes us feel throughout. The performance by both Roshan as well as Vedika is earnest. However, the narrative does not give them enough to make the emotional arc land. The hero villain arc. The movie does take a nosedive towards the end of the second half, especially with the cliched hero villain arc. The antagonist, Cherian, played by Vishak Nair, you can very clearly see him putting a lot of effort on the screen. However, the narrative does not flesh his character out enough for us to make this character funny or menacing at any point, especially owing to the fact that this character goes full out menacing in the second half towards the end. Again, Chatha Pacha becomes a fun theatre watch with great world building, wacky characters, and beautiful performances. If you can forgive the narrative gaps in between, you would have a fun time in theatres. Watch Chatha Pacha in screen near you. That's it from me today. If you like the video, give a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. Put comments down below of your favorite characters from the movie Chatha Pacha. And also consider sharing this with your friends. Until next time, this is where I leave you.